Welcome to Mike Rambling.
Welcome back to another Mike Rambling. Today I wanted to discuss why your imagination is always going to try and make things better than what they are. Yep. And so what we are propagating our life on sometimes is the imagination of thinking things are better than what they are, and also thinking things to be worse than what they are. So we often think, well, sometimes we kind of go back and forth between the two, right? We often think things are better than they are, and then we often think things are worse than what they are. And trying to be in the middle somewhere in between these two is quite difficult, right? Trying to have that equilibrium of in between them. And so when we live in that imagination, and we all do, we all have a good imagination. We're all fed imagination through the media. You know, we see celebrities, we see them doing well, we see them doing bad. And so what I wanted to discuss is that one of those things is try and not rely on kind of your eyesight to see things, and then kind of go off into this kind of world of, well, thinking, you know, I'm this person here, and I'm like smiling. Terrible drawing again. And I'm trying to imagine my life to be better than sometimes maybe everyone else's life also, but you don't know what's happening in someone else's life over here. They're like doing their own thing, and sometimes you think, well, their life could be worse or better than your life. It's not the case, right? It's all based on your imagination and what you're seeing, right? In your brain, you're kind of imagining at the time with your emotions and everything else what their life is, and so you couldn't possibly know, right? And they might have a smile also, but they could be, you know, just terrible at the moment. You can see and look at just what you see of them and judge, oh, their life must be better, maybe they're better looking, or maybe they got more money than you. But it isn't the case, because money doesn't buy you happiness, and looks don't also buy you happiness. So you really can't sit and judge of that person at all. And so if you let that imagination take you and lead you in your life, you will always just be probably, you know, upset. You will be upset, probably. I think you will. And you kind of always compare your life with their lives, right? And then one thing is you don't want to compare. If you sit and compare your life all the time, you won't get anywhere. You'll just fail. Because you're in this kind of, almost, if you're constantly comparing things, you're going to be a little bitter, because your imagination, right, that imagination is going to just, I don't know, you get like those bubbles in your head. It's like a cloud, and you're thinking, I don't know, like a car or something like that. You see him in a really nice car. You see someone in a really nice car, and it's just a real fancy car with a spoiler, and you're imagining their life better than yours, right? Just because they had this really nice car, right? But as I said before, the money doesn't buy you happiness. This is why you hear it. But the thing is, you don't believe it, because you think of money as buying you all this stuff, right? That kind of want to fill that hole, you know. I guess there's a hole in all of us. Well, not that type of hole, but you know the hole, right? You're in the hole of thinking their life is better because they have this stuff, like money and cars. Could even have like a woman with big fake boobs, big fake ass as well, right? But how is that going to make you happy, right? You could sit there, or you can even have a dude that looks like Brad Pitt, even though Brad Pitt was an alcoholic at one point. So goes to show that looks don't buy you happiness. And he's rich. He's somewhat unhappy with parts of his life, just like everyone else. But you imagine him to be happier. You don't hear about any stories until it's, at the end of the story where he's getting on in years. But that's a side thing. But you see, say if they had the perfect couple, Angelina, right, and Brad. They couldn't even make their stuff work. And they had money and looks, and money, right? And they couldn't make it work. Why? Because they're often looking at each other in different retrospectives, kind of like, or perspectives, I'd say. They're looking at each other with this type of, you could probably say, a selfishness. And it would be hard not to do it because they grew up in the spotlight of wanting things and kind of desiring things just like everyone else, and their life was just more inflated, right? But they still couldn't make it work. And even having all this money, and they had kids and everything, and they couldn't make it work, right? And you have to wonder why. It's because maybe both of them thinking things of one another, their imagination, and before that they probably both started off in a hole, right? In that kind of like thinking if you meet the right person, you'd be happy. If you had the right things, you'd be happy. If you were like with the right person that looked like your preference in people, you'd be happy. Like if you could just get someone that looked like this, right? You'd be happy, right? Because your imagination for attraction and everything else. But often you forget when you're with somebody you actually get along with, you just tend to see them differently. After a while, if you get rid of all your bullshit before that. So, from everything I've said, let's conclude. Your imagination can't be relied on. You know why? Because you've fed so many things in the media on top of your own imagination, right? I really got to do neater writing. But this is the imagination, and then you have media on top. So you've got that on top. This is on top of your own imagination for wanting things and desiring things. So really, when it comes down to it, you want to not be led by your imagination, but be inspired by it in a way. But don't let it lead you down a path of destruction and wanting, because in comparing and doing all the things that you think your imagination is responsible for making you happy and all that stuff, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that can be happy with yourself. And it comes back to that thing, right? You need to be happy with yourself, and then you can let all those things come to you in time. So I'm just going to leave it there. Mike Rambling is out. please subscribe and like. Any support on Patreon is appreciated. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.